Hey, this is Christy with brightspiritrising.com. Thanks for joining me. And today I'd like to do a reading for this week. I'm using my Spirit Animal Awareness deck. You can see it there. And it is now April 23rd, 2018. So last week I did a reading for the new moon for the entire month. And what came up was three power animals. It was owl, telling us to really look deeply into our intuition for the truth of the matter, the truth of who we are, where we want to go. And then it was mouse, and her message was to take it bit by bit, take baby steps. It's okay. You can get things done in 5 minutes a day, 1 hour a day. You can get a lot done. And then Eagle came in with the encouragement to just spread your wings, make it easy, look for the easy route. They glide on the air currents. You don't have to flap your wings real hard when you're following your purpose. So this past week has been pretty cool. I actually moved. I'm in a new location. Hopefully this will be my permanent location. I have moved 24 times in my 49 years, so this feels pretty good. Although it's a project, you can see there's no trim. There's no paint on the walls either. So, but it feels good to be here. Now, something that's been coming up for myself and some other people around this whole idea of moving into purpose is resistance. So that's what I'd like to do this reading on today, is addressing that issue of resistance when you're moving into your purpose. And we're just going to kind of see what the animal cards are going to, hopefully they'll suggest some things to help us to move through that resistance. It's going to happen when you start stepping into your purpose. Everything that is afraid to do it is going to come up. It's going to come up from within yourself, and it may also come up from other people around you. So don't be surprised to have that come up. I have a friend who her brother was telling her it's unrealistic to move forward with her astrology business, that's going to come up with the people, especially the people who are close to you, the people who have influence over you or that you're fond of, right? It comes up from that. It's really demoralizing. So it's just something we have to work through. So I'm going to go through and kind of shuffle here. Before what I've been doing lately when I work with the cards is ask the guides before I draw the cards kind of what each card represents. And this time, the first card that they wanted me to draw was the card for light. And the impression I'm getting is that this is the card that's representing our spiritual support in moving forward with purpose. So let's see what comes up. Oh boy. Okay. We have Salmon, the Salmon card. So Salmon, this is a totally, it's an Ascension animal. Okay. So what I'm getting here is like, you just trust that spirit is there. Spirit, our planet right now is full on in ascension mode. Okay, the planet Earth herself is ascending spiritually, and so that's making it it's helping the process, even though it may not feel like it. I mean, it is a journey, and if you're on that ascension path, it can be a tough journey, but know that there is all sorts of spiritual support, lifting us up. And, you can see the salmon, they do have to swim upstream. It's part of the process. It's not an easy trip. It's not like you can, just, there's this feeling like, oh yeah, I'm going to, set my intentions and everything's going to be great. Well, it's not always that way. Sometimes it's like when we start setting intentions, everything comes up to want to block it. And that's part of it. It's like with salmon has to go upstream and really prove that it is up for the job, because they're responsible for the future. The salmon, any animal, when it's mating, it has to be strong enough to pass on its genes to the next generation. Okay. And so when we're ascending, it's like what we're doing is, every action that we take affects the future. And, so your choice, it's always a choice. Your choice to follow your purpose. It's really, you're going to get tested, and that's all right, because it's like flexing your muscles. It's making, getting to that point where your 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 journey is part of this whole process of strengthening the earth and our collective ascension into a much more beautiful reality. And it may take a while. We're in this process of amazing change. We're in this transition, and you and I and everybody that is on the planet at this time is part of that transition. So transition is always hard. Ask your dog, ask any animal. My dog, you know, she hates moving. So when I started packing up, she was like, "Oh no, don't make me move again," because she knew what was coming. But fortunately, I'm moving into a place with my kid, and she knows the place, so she was really, really relieved to get here. And think of it that way. I mean, it's like, oh no, we have to move again. We have to pack up. We've got to do all this work, but it is so, so, so worth it. But just know that there's all sorts of support, and divine timing is a big part of it. You know, Trusting that it's all happening in the right time. There are cycles, and there are, sometimes we want to push and push and push ahead, but sometimes, it's better to just breathe and realize that when the time is right, we will be given what we need to move forward. So just that trust. Okay, so the second card that I'm asked to look at is the crystal card. And what I'm getting here is the support on the earthly plane, which could be people, it could be material things coming into your life. All right, so the one that I just drew is cat, having to do with that. So let me feel into that. Cat is all about independence. It's about self-confidence, focusing. So, it's about grace under pressure. So this may not feel so helpful sometimes when you say, oh, just, grace under pressure. But again, realizing that, yes, this is a time of transition. It's a time where we're going to feel a lot of stress. Okay, so let's look at how cat handles things. Okay, when a cat is falling, it just rights itself. It's so flexible, and so that this may call for some flexibility on your part, and feeling into what feels like a good move, because like we want it to be done. We want, if we have a spiritually based business, we want it to be going strong, and there's steps in the way, and sometimes we need to kind of adjust our expectations and realize that, okay, well, gravity works, and if I just, I may have to twist around a little bit to move with the force of gravity instead of against it. So what's coming in really strong is kind of this force of gravity idea, in that we're being pulled towards, our purpose. We're being pulled forward in time, whether we like it or not. There's things that are happening on the planet that are happening whether we like it or not. And just that being opening oneself to being flexible, to, doing those twists and turns if necessary, being, like not compromising on your values. So be aware of your values and don't compromise on that, but you may need to compromise on your expectations as far as timing, as far as how things get done. And again, when we're really in tune, Spirit will give us what we need. So maybe what we need is to hang on to that full-time job for a while yet, or to, find a part-time job, or maybe to, work it out with your partner or whatever it is for the time being, until things open up. There may be some waiting involved. There may be some having to adjust, how we deal with things, or, adjust our idea of the ideal. So flexibility in there. Okay, and the third card was basically darkness. It represents kind of things that may be in our way. And this is the Ferret card that came up. Okay, so interesting. I just had a follower email me just a couple weeks ago about Ferret, and she was talking about how they are real warrior spirit animal. But she said sometimes they are so totally fearless that sometimes they will just go after things that maybe aren't in their best interests. So that thought of, again, I'm getting, I think this is reiterating what the last card was saying, in that sometimes we want to move forward so fast. We are so excited about moving forward in our purpose that it becomes this pushy energy. And that in itself is a kind of resistance. It is wanting to push forward and push the boundaries of rhythm, the natural rhythm of how things happen. What it tends to do is run us into accidents. It gets us hurt. It gets us, sometimes we push forward into, trying to move things forward. Sometimes it takes us off track. It can really take us off track, because we think, our ego thinks it knows. And this happens when our ego really wants to help. When we are when it gets to the point where it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing, and this is cool, and I'm not threatened anymore, so I really want to help. And then it wants to control things. So the sense of over controlling and wanting to just make it happen, really watch out for that this week and for the rest of the month. So hopefully, I'm just going to kind of reiterate here. Salmon, we're in an ascension process. Trust that things are happening. Things are happening with that divine timing. Respecting that divine timing sometimes requires a lot of flexibility from us. And sometimes that also requires us to dial back on our really over-eagerness to, make it happen, to push things through. There's time for that. There is time for that warrior thing, but maybe not right now. Maybe it's time for more of a diplomatic approach right now. All right, so hope you've enjoyed this, and please do, if you're, really enjoying these videos, if you would like to hear more spirit animal guidance, definitely subscribe to my channel. There's a little bell symbol, hit that for new updates, and you can also check out my website, brightspiritrising.com. I've got some good resources on there. This is spirit animals. I work with the spirit animals as well as the angelic realm. So, and I would love to hear from you. So if you have questions, especially on things like moving forward to your purpose, working with the spirit animal guides, I would love to hear your questions. If you go to brightspiritrising.com, you can comment and reach me through there, or comment below. Absolutely, I appreciate all your likes, subscribes, and definitely your comments. I try to respond to all the comments. And if you have something that you'd really like more information about, I'd totally love to do a video on that for you. So take it easy and have a good week, and we'll see you soon.